This is Dr. Andrew Jones. In this edition of Veterinary Secrets, I'm going to be discussing what you can do if you find a dog trapped inside a hot car. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. Today it is full-on summer. It's expected to reach a high today. It probably is of 32 degrees Celsius, which is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Extremely hot, which means us and our dogs in particular are at risk of heat stroke. I'm doing this video because I was recently reading a story on heat stroke and the laws or lack thereof of what you could do as a citizen if you're going by and you see a dog trapped within a hot car. So here's Pippi down here. She's actually hanging out in the shade. She found somewhere where it's not near as hot. But she's fortunate, you know, she's with me, a whole lot of common sense being involved. I would never consider leaving any dog at all, and in any type of closed vehicle, anytime you're looking at, you know, passer of late spring on. As an example, if it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which is relatively cool, you know, it's sort of about 20 degrees Celsius, so it's sort of considered a warmish, early warm spring temperature. That same temperature, if you've got the windows closed in the vehicle, you can add 20 degrees to that. So within 10 minutes, it can reach 90 degrees. Your dog could be at serious risk developing secondary signs and symptoms of heat stroke within 10 minutes after that. So what are some of those signs of heat stroke that I just discussed? The single biggest thing you're going to see is a dog that's just excessively uncontrolled panting. I mean, they can no longer cool their body down. That's their primary source of evaporating moisture, having their body temperature cool, so they're excessively panting. Their tongues hanging out, very much unlike what's happening with Pippi, who's pretty comfortable here in the shade. They may be all this excessive salivation and drooling. Many of these dogs, by the time, if they're panting that much, secondary, they're going to look uncoordinated. They may be sort of staggered if you're able to see them even trying to move in the car. In some cases, it can progress to seizuring. Some dogs can progress to just acute vomiting that they can't stop. And, you know, soon after that, that seizuring can then progress to death. And this can all happen very, very quickly in hyperthermia, especially when we're dealing with a temperature, you know, such as what's happening now. Say Pippi's trapped in the car, like, what can you do? I mean, here I am walking over, say we're in a parking lot. You look inside. I mean, any of us, myself being included, our first instinct is to not know the laws. We just want to get that dog out. You know, if she's panting excessively, she's salivating, clearly in distress, and that's mostly what you're going to see through a window. You're just going to see this dog that's standing up or just panting and panting and panting, uncontrolled. Or, you know, perhaps even worse, it's progressed to the point that they're almost comatose and not moving. I mean, that dog needs to get out of the car. Okay. She might not be distressed, but just imagine she is for the video. Currently in Canada, it's illegal for anyone to break into a vehicle, including the police, including the SPCA. I mean, 100%, you're not allowed to do it legally. In the US, there's a variety of Good Samaritan laws, in some cases focused on sort of, you know, animals trapped in hot cars. In approximately about 25 states have laws allowing you to do that. So in a situation where you're thinking an animal's in distress, you're allowed to, you know, go into that quote-unquote personal property and break in. In Canada, you're not. To me, it doesn't make any sense at all, and especially when you see an animal in distress. Apparently, what the law says, though, it's illegal to put an animal in distress, so the owner can be charged. But, you know, that's kind of after the fact, and you've got an urgent situation. You know, so what can you do? I mean, obviously you're going to first, you know, make sure that the dog really is in distress. From seeing through the window, you probably tell that pretty quickly. You're going to make an attempt to contact the owner. If they're in a park, you know, if they're in a big mall, for instance, hop into that big box store, get them to announce as X person with X license plate here. You know, maybe you're going to contact the police, contact the SPCA. That being said, sometimes you only have minutes, and maybe it's a 10 or 15 minute lag time before they show up. And then in that situation, the only real way, to really save that animal, is breaking into that vehicle. So do I advocate B&E, break and enter? No, of course I don't. But do I advocate common sense and sort of questioning laws that don't make any sense? You bet I do, and there's one of them. Like, why in God's name should that be illegal? So what am I going to leave you with this point? First of all, know the signs of heat stroke, so recognize that in your dog and other people's dogs. Secondly, know that in a short period of time, within less than 5 minutes, you can go from being inside this closed vehicle, windows partly up, to seeing your dog's body temperature rise above 106, going in towards the stages of heat stroke, starting out with sort of ataxia, to this excessive panting, to excessive salivation, to some of the serious secondary symptoms where they're starting to see the body temperature rise to the point where their organs are affected, their brain's affected. Third, and if you're seeing that and you're seeing a dog in that serious distress, you got to get that dog out of there. Try to find the owner quickly. You can't do that. Call the SPCA and the police. Say, this is what I'm seeing. What's your time to get here? Can you help me get into this vehicle? If they can't, I suggest then you just take matters into your own hands. Break into that vehicle, get the dog out. So thanks you guys for watching this edition. I hope you found it somewhat helpful and interesting. Definitely, if you enjoy the video, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and like this video.